All right, welcome back to another introductory video for No Huddle Football. This is a new American football tabletop game from the Clark and Addison Gaming Company. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deal with big plays on the offense and the defense. Now, when we come here to our offense and defensive plays, we get our offensive or our play type, whether it's a pass, a rush, or a sack. But once we get to our passing and rushing charts, we have these big plays sort of scattered throughout. They're a little darker red for the defense and they're a little darker green for the offense. So hopefully it will help you to see them better. And let's say Minnesota has the ball and they hit on a big play on offense. Let's say they get an ace of spades on a passing play. So we have a big play for the pass. Now our big plays are designated in this second row here. So you'll see a big play for punting, big plays for kickoffs, or really for kick returns. Excuse me. And then we have big plays, and it's called big plays normal. So big plays normal is what we're going to use for our offense and defense big plays. So here we have the offensive big play, and here we have the defensive big play. In our example, Minnesota has a passing play, and it's a big play on offense. So we're looking at these two, and then because it's a passing play, we have these broken up as a rush or a pass. So we're going to be looking in this column here on the offensive side under the pass column, because that's the chart where our big play was. So that because it's the offense, we're going to draw from the top of the offensive pile. And so we flip a 9 of spades. It doesn't matter the suit for the big plays, because when there's no suit up here, then it's just the value of the number or the value of the card that we're looking at. So we cross-reference 9 with the pass play, and we come up with a 60-yard play. So that is going to be 60 yards on the pass. Now, on our chart, if we are, let's say, we're at the 20-yard line here, and we're going this way toward this goal line, then 60 yards will put us down to the 20, and then we'll be 1st and 10 at the 20. But if we are, let's say, at the opponent's 40-yard line, there are only 40 yards to go. So 60 is actually going to put us into the end zone for a touchdown. So if the distance to go is less than what the big play warrants, then the result is a touchdown. So if we were coming from the opponent's, from Detroit's 40, then that would be a touchdown for Minnesota. So that's how you read the big plays on the offensive pass. If it were a rushing play, and let's say we pulled the same 9, because we do have big plays on a rushing play, it would be the same like an ace of spades or clubs, then we would reference the rushing column. And so for that, it would be a 50-yard running play. So a breakaway, 50-yard run, and then you would mark that off. If we were at the Detroit 40, that would be a 40-yard touchdown run, because it takes us into the end zone. Now for the defense, let's say that Detroit controls, they control the pass, and they had a 2 of hearts. They have a couple of big plays here. So let's say it's a 2 of hearts. Then we're going to roll from the defensive pile, flip the top card, and then now we're going to reference the defensive side. Because it was a pass play, we're looking in this last column here. It's a 4, and a 4 is going to be a pass deflection. So a pass deflection is a ball that would have been caught, but the defender made a play. That counts as an incomplete pass. And then you go on and you treat it just like it was an incomplete pass. Let's say that the big play happened here. It would be like a 2 of spades or a 2 of clubs. There's a big play on the rushing plays. A 4 on that, in that instance, would be a tackle for loss, and the tackle for loss is -3 yards. So big play there by the defensive line. You would move the ball back 3 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then it would be second down or the next down. So big plays can happen all throughout. There are fumbles, there are penalties. If there should be a penalty, you can see the jack here is a penalty. There's also one here on the pass play. If there's a penalty, then we're going to reference our chart here. So let's say our card is a jack on a pass play, a big play for a pass play. So because it's on the offensive side and there's a penalty, we're not looking at the offensive side for a penalty, we're looking at the defense for a penalty. So everything here should be advantageous to the offense. Everything here should be advantageous for the defense. So if there's a penalty on the offensive side, you're going to look to the defense for the penalty. If it's a penalty on the defensive side, then you're going to look to the offense for the penalty. So in this example, we have a penalty on the defense. So what we're going to do is, I like to just, you can draw from either pile, but I like to draw from the defense pile for defense things and the offense pile for offense things. If you're playing with a person, you can kind of work that out between you, how you want to do that. So we're going to draw a card. It's going to be a 2 of hearts. And because this is a pass play penalty, we're going to look in the passing column here on the defensive side, and it's a 2. So we look at a 2, and you can see here that the penalty is unnecessary roughness. So you're going to add 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, and then it's going to be an automatic first down. So it says unnecessary roughness plus 15 plus a first down. So it's an automatic first down, and the offensive team gets 15 yards added to the line of scrimmage. Now in that instance, there is no play. There's only the penalty yardage. So for the penalties, there's no play unless you have something like a pass interference. It'll clearly tell you the line of scrimmage plus 15 yards and it's a first down. So you would mark off 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's where the pass interference happened. And then you would get a first down from there. If on a pass interference play, let's say you're at the 15-yard line and you draw the line of scrimmage plus 30, that means that the pass interference happened in the end zone, basically. And when that happens, I believe you get the ball at the 1. I would have to look up the rule, but basically you get the ball right at the goal line, and then it would be a first down. So some of these rules you might have to look up and say, oh, what is that? But it's not going to be a rule for our game. It's going to be a rule for American football, and you might just have to look up what that rule is. So that is our big plays for our normal plays. Let's just go through for the same mechanics work for punting and kickoffs. So you can see here in our punts, we have big plays in the red column, and they're green, and we have big plays in the black column, and they're red. These are signifying sort of offense and defense, but not really. So that's not typically the way it works. So on a punt, you're going to use the big plays for the punts. On the return, you're going to use the big plays for the returns. So the kicking team, let's say they draw an ace of hearts on a punt. So now we're looking at the punt side for the big play to see what that was. And we have an ace of spades, and the big play for this play is going to be a blocked punt for a TD. So the receiving team blocks the punt and they take it in for a touchdown. And just like that, you've changed the complexion of the game. So it's as easy as just sort of referencing that. If you're on the return team and let's say you draw a 2 of spades, then you flip the card and you go to the return side of the big plays for punting, and you say a 6, a red 6 is going to be 0 yards on the return. So the player catches it, but they're tackled right at the spot where they catch it. There are also penalties. There's a muff where the offensive team recovers the ball right where the catch is made. Excuse me, a muff is when the ball, you try to catch the ball and it goes right through your hands and falls to the ground, and then the defensive team is right there to get it. So if it says a muff, that means that wherever the ball was caught, so wherever the punt went and the player caught the ball, at that spot, the punting team is going to take over 1st and 10 because they've recovered that muffed fumble. For a fumble offensive recovery, then you're going to go down and draw one more time, and you'll find out what to do after the fumble. So it'll tell you, what yardage from the place. And line of scrimmage is what normally happens for a big play fumble. But on a punt return, then you're going to use the spot where the player caught the ball as the line of scrimmage. So whether it's minus yards or plus yards, or whether it was taken in for a touchdown on the recovery. So, and then there's automatic fumbles for a TD. There will be returns for a TD. So if the return team gets the ball and they hit on, let's say, an ace of spades, that would be a return for a TD. So they take it all the way to the house on the kick return. Or it can be a large gain here, or it could be even a negative gain. So like they're running backwards trying to get away from the defense and can't quite get around the corner, and they get taken down for a negative play. So just sort of follow the instructions inside the cross-reference of the chart, and that should lead you to the result of the play. Okay, the last one is big plays for kickoffs. And so on the return here, we have a couple of big plays. No big plays on the kickoff itself, but on the kick return, you can see. So because the kick return is the defense, we're going to flip off of the top of the defensive card, our pile. And then we have a 4 of hearts. That's a red 4. So this is actually going to be just a 16-yard return, which is not really great. It's about anywhere from 5 to 7 yards less than the average kick return. Actually, almost 10 yards less than the average kick return. So that's not a great kick return. It's sort of in favor of the kicking team. On the other side, let's say it were a black 4, it would be a 17. But if you had a black jack, that would be a 29-yard return, or even an ace would be a 35-yard return. But for the big plays, we are looking down here. And so let's say we hit on a big play, and then we need to flip our top card. Our top card is a 4, a red 4. So we have red and black here on our big plays for kickoffs. Big plays are denoted with this little foam finger. So we have a red 4, and that's going to be a fumble at the 15-yard line. So there's a fumble on the return, and the kicking team is going to recover the ball at the 15-yard line. So that's what that means. That could be a fumble at the 25, a fumble at the 12, a fumble with a return for a TD. So the kicking return team fumbles the ball. The other team picks it up and takes it in for a touchdown. And then on the other side, there are big plays for the kick return team. So even up to a 90-yard return. If you catch the ball at the 5-yard line and you have a 90-yard return, that puts you at the 5-yard line of your opponent, 1st and 10. There are also some return TDs in here as well. So chance for some big plays. If you hit on the penalty, it'll be a penalty on the kicking team. So you can see penalty 20 plus 15. So you start at the 20-yard line. That's where the penalty was. And then you add 15. So you'll be starting 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Actually, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. You start at the 20, you add 15, 1st and 10 at the 35. So that is big plays for punting, kickoffs, and for normal plays. In the next video, we'll cover the sack chart and how to use that for sacks.